In this video, I'm going to show you a high win rate scalping strategy that works extremely well on crypto, stocks, and forex. I'm also going to backtest it 100 times with an initial account size set at $1,000 and 2% risk per trade, so you can see for yourself how well it performs in different market conditions. Okay, so for this strategy, we're going to use Bitcoin 5-minute charts, and now let's go ahead and add our indicators. So for our first indicator, we're going to use Kijun Sen, this one right here. For our second indicator, let's add Parabolic SAR. Next indicator we're going to use is called DD Index. This one right here. And for our last indicator, we're going to add Water Attire Explosion to our chart. Okay, now we need to adjust our indicators. So first let's double click on this Kijun Sen line and change the style. Now let's adjust the settings on this DD Index. So first we're going to get rid of this plot and make this line a bit more visible. And lastly, let's change the settings on this Water Attire Explosion indicator. So first of all, we're going to change the inputs from 150 to 100. Also, we're going to get rid of this dead zone and make this explosion line a bit more visible. Okay, now our system is set up, so let's get into our trading rules. The whole idea behind this system is to trade with the trend, to eliminate losses when the market is moving sideways, and to let our winners ride. So for our first confirmation indicator, we're going to be using this DD Index Zero Cross indicator. For our second confirmation indicator, we're going to be using this Kijun Sen line. Our volume indicator will be this Water Attire Explosion, and we're going to be using this Parabolic SAR for our exit signals. So we're only going to be looking to buy if we have a new bullish signal from our DD Index. This indicator works the other way around, so whenever you see this red line crossing zero line downwards, this is a new bullish signal. We're also looking for the price to close above this Kijun Sen yellow line. And finally, we're going to be looking at our Water Attire Explosion indicator for sufficient bullish volume. So this histogram has to be colored in either dark or light green and has to break above this yellow moving average. So once we have these three conditions met, we're going to go ahead and take a long position, set our stop loss at the recent swing low. And if the price moves in our direction and we have a winning trade, we're going to close the position as soon as we have an exit signal from our Parabolic SAR indicator. So to exit a long position, we're going to need to wait for these dots to flip above the price. Now let's see whether this trade was profitable. Okay, so we see this trade is profitable and we had an exit signal right on its candlestick. Our risk to reward ratio on this trade was 2.51, and since we're risking 2% of our account per each trade, on this particular trade we could have made 5% profit. For short trades, the rules are exactly opposite. So first of all, we're waiting for a new signal from our DD Index. So this red line has to cross above the zero line, and this would be considered as a new short signal. We also want the price to close below the Kijun Sen yellow line. And lastly, we're going to be looking for a bearish volume spike on our Water Attire Explosion. So the histogram has to be colored in either orange or red color, and it has to break through this yellow moving average. And once we have these three conditions met, we're going to take a short position, set our stop loss at the recent swing high. And again, if the price moves in our favor and we have a profitable trade, we're going to close the position as soon as we have an exit signal from our Parabolic SAR indicator. So when exiting a short trade, these dots have to flip below the price. Okay, now let's see whether this trade was actually profitable. Okay, so we see we just caught a really nice trade and we had an exit signal right on its candlestick. We see our risk to reward ratio on this particular trade was 3.44 and we could have made 6.88% profit. Okay, let me now give you some more examples so you have a better idea of how to trade with this system. So we see we just had a valid long signal issued by our first confirmation indicator. We see the rest of our indicators confirming a signal. So let's go ahead and take a long position, set our stop loss and see whether this trade was a winner. Okay, so we see the parabolic SAR just shifted over the price, which would be considered as an exit signal for a long trade. But the reason this signal is not valid is because this trade is not profitable. Okay, so now we had a valid exit signal and we can close this long position. We see we could have made 6.5% profit on this trade. Now let's move on and find some more signals. Okay, so we just had a good short signal. We see the indicator just crossed above the 0 line. Also, we have the price sitting below this Kijun-sen line, and we have sufficient bearish volume in the market. So let's go ahead and take a short position. Set our stop loss at the recent swing high, and wait for an exit signal. Again, we had another exit signal to close the position right there, but this signal is not valid, you can see. This exit signal is not valid either, because we're not running in profit. Finally, we had a good exit signal, and now let's close this trade on this candlestick. Our risk to reward ratio is 0.74, and we could have made around 1.5% profit. Okay, so now you know exactly how to trade with this system, so let's go ahead and backtest it 100 times and compare the results to some other systems we've already got on our channel. Okay, so I just finished backtesting the system and the results are as good as I promised. I found those 100 setups within 2 weeks and we see our win rate is 68%, which is really impressive. We also gained 86.45% on our account. If we take a look at our equity curve, we see this strategy is working really well when the market is trending. However, you should expect consolidations when the market starts moving sideways. We see our profit factor is 2.02 and we had 9 consecutive wins against 3 consecutive losses. We see in terms of win rate, this strategy is sitting on a second place, which tells us it's really good. So go ahead and backtest it and forward test it on different markets. And if you have any suggestions or ideas on how we can improve this strategy, let us know in the comments. Okay traders, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you found it useful, don't forget to smash the like button, it really helps with the algorithm.